Greetings everybody, it is the Ash Heritor, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Here we are, back on the bridge of our void ship, where we will be decrypting our predecessor, Lady Theodora's classified information, to see what kind of nefarious stuff she was up to. So we're gonna go and have a chit-chat with the cogitator here. The sacred mechanism is awake and ready to receive your request, Lord Captain. So we're going to hand the Kiava Gamma databank to the tech priest. Access the data from Kiava Gamma. The tech priest connects the data slate to the cogitator's drive with such care as if he is holding the greatest of treasures. The servo motors hum as they begin to stir, and lines of text on the vid screen swiftly replace one another. Input, pack comp, nom os stab true, stat check inish. Nom os UNP incident status initiated, data regulation 521148622. The great mechanism has transformed the secret data into a format that you can comprehend without the assistance of a servant of the Omnissiah. The tech priest retrieves the data slate from the heart of the cogitator, holding it with both hands, and passes it to you. The item decryption, or the databank decryption procedure has been completed. Without complicate, the tech priest stops short. The green lights of his visor, fixed on the cogitator's vid screens, flicker nervously. Okay. We have received preliminary report N4073. Strings of numerical code begin appearing with frightening speed. This time, the numbers are interspersed with words you can understand, and those words form legible sentences. Input, unpack, comp, nom os true. Epitaph brought her to the beginning. Epitaph, we've heard that before. 84569, nom os analysis status initiated. Epitaph begot the incident. That which destroyed. Stat check initiated and changed everything. The incident became the starting point. Okay, so Epitaph brought her somewhere. We don't know who or what Epitaph is. Could be something, could be someone. Obviously a title. I don't think most parents name their children Epitaph, but this is the 41st millennium, so anything's possible. You know, somebody named their kid the God Emperor, after all. It's, you know, you're just setting them up for stuff, okay? Anyways, the incident became the starting point. Also, I want to point out Epitaph, just because of its... so, what is an epitaph, in case you know, English isn't your first language. An epitaph is... yeah, it's sort of like something that commemorates the dead. Something that has died. Someone that has died. Could be a tombstone, could be, you know, some sort of memorial. At least, that's what I understand. I'm a writer. I should get this right, but you never know. Sometimes I get things wrong. This is why I look words up when I use them for my writing. But, I'm not writing right now, so I'm not gonna look it up, and you're just gonna have to believe what I told you. Or fact-check me and tell me I'm an idiot in the comments. Yeah, I don't know. It's got this sort of death feeling to it. I'm getting some Necron vibes. I don't know if the Necrons are involved in this. I vaguely recall a screenshot showing Necrons on the Steam page, so I guess they probably are. But I could be wrong. I could be remembering, like, the Mechanicus game, but I don't know. Input, unpack, comp, nom os analysis, status initiated. The incident breathed life and marked the beginning of all. 5476. It marked the beginning of Nomos. 2356. Nom os. It created Nomos. Nomos. Ooh. Where do I know that name from? Is that Greek? No, I'm thinking Momus, which is one of the chthonic Greek deities. Alongside Thanatos and Hypnos and all of them. Nomos. Is that like Latin for name? Or Greek even? I don't know. You guys know what that means. Not in the context of this story, just like out of context of this story in the real world. If this is a word that has a meaning in some language, feel free to tell me. The tech priest, now alarmed, is tapping keys on the control panel, his binaric prayers giving way to distressed whispering. Unacceptable deviation, violation of the sacred protocols, possibility of tech heresy, Omnissiah, shield us from all heresy. A few moments later, the vid screens darken and flicker to life again. Input prompt nom os ALG 52136. Oh, yeah, here we go. I saw a word among the lines of code. Nomos. What does it mean? That is a mystery to me. If this mechanism truly is tainted, then could it be? The tech priest mechadendrite jitters anxiously over the control panel. If heresy truly has taken hold of this machine spirit and scorned the Omnissiah as every tenet, then the spirit's madness could be such that it has chosen a name for itself. But that is nothing more than my hypothesis. What was that just now? The imperfections of Vox transmission make the tech priest's voice sound even more worried. A catastrophic mistake, a heinous violation of the purity of the hallowed code. This mechanism is touched by heresy. It is branded and tainted by it. Now the machine spirit procures or produces code as before, and yet, Lord Captain, hear my plea. All operations on this machine must be halted until the Engineer Prime has inspected it. Yes, you'll report this to Pascal immediately. The tech priest bows guiltily, and his mechanical voice becomes hollow and dejected. My knowledge is insufficient to cleanse the code of this mechanism. I will inform the esteemed Engineer Prime of this disturbing development. Only he has the power to expel the heresy from the corrupted machine spirit. So, I'm guessing we now know. Okay. I'm gonna talk to him anyways. Let's go find Pascal here. Whoa. He's spinning quickly.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Oh yeah. So remember that tech priest we killed, Demence? Yeah, Pascal plucked his neurolog medic away, so I'm gonna ask him if he studied it.
I have destroyed it.
Okay. A slight telltale rattle in Pascal's voice makes him sound unconvincing. You're lying.
This statement is true. I am yet to settle into a definitive course of action. I am running a spot diagnostic on the memory of the heretic Demence. Even though purity protocols stipulate that his blasphemous knowledge must be eradicated, I am not drawn toward forbidden information, but only to data concerning the blessed Amanat.
Yeah. I think Amanat was up to something sketchy, and I think it's involved in whatever happened on Kiava Gamma. Any information on Archmagos Amanat?
The data discovered is unreadable. It is encrypted, albeit only partially, and I hypothesize that the heretic Demence was attempting to decrypt it. I will take every effort to extract a larger volume of data. Information pointing to the unit referred to as the Maimed Hunter is alleged to be of critical significance.
Yeah, who is the Maimed Hunter? What corrupted Demence?
An echo of the warp. Energies of the immaterium that had seeped into real space and taken the shape of a Vox signal. I have found recorded cases of similarly induced corruption in the archive. Listening to the void is a perilous occupation.
Maybe I should heed his words, because I do it all the time. And I'm perfectly sane. Yeah, wasn't that kind of what happened with our ship? We got a Vox signal. No, it was a data transfer. Which admittedly was pretty dumb to accept that, but, you know. All in the interest of science. But you did want to know what he knew. You were interested.
The quest for knowledge is our mission of highest priority. But what Demence promised was not knowledge, but a distorted copy of it. This was not what the Deus Mechanicus had told us to seek.
Okay, that's fair. And have you found out anything?
The success has been partial. Demence Heinrich's identity has been confirmed. The widespread influence of paranoid motivations is observable in his cognitive processes, which is what seems to have caused him to break his vows.
No.
However, extensive regions of his memory have been damaged by forbidden technologies and are, for now, defying decryption. My study of the minds of the tech comrades, Abel, Tarsus, and Demence, has revealed an anomalous similarity between the patterns of damage their memories sustained and what I attributed to cognitive idiosyncrasies, synaptic damage, and the distortive action of scrap code may be the result of a different kind of influence. The undecryptable data fragments in their memory arrays are mysteriously symmetrical.
Oh, you know what would be really cool? Okay. So, the fragments of their memories, I believe, are pieces to a puzzle that form a whole. This whole is the thing connecting them all, so... it has to do with their shared name, Heinrich. We don't know what Heinrich means yet. It's Pascal's last name, but last names don't have the same implication with the cult of the Omnissiah as they do with, you know, normal people. Like, you don't take your family's last name, because the cult of the Omnissiah doesn't really have families in most cases. There's exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, it's some sort of symbolic name. Pascal also, I would like to point out, has some cognitive idiosyncrasies of his own. He seems to not remember certain things from time to time, and seems to be very much taken aback whenever he finds another Heinrich. And I've noticed, like, at first I didn't really think much of it. I thought, okay, it's just telling a bit of a... how to put it? Like, an overly complex narrative, and it's kind of drip-feeding us pieces, and I don't have the information to put the pieces back together. But Pascal is, at the very least, acting on complete information, so we can trust the information that he has given. But now I am beginning to suspect that we cannot trust all of the information that he has given, because I don't think the pieces that he has been giving us are necessarily all true, or... basically what I'm saying is the complexity and the confusion in Pascal's story, which I believe I've expressed before, I think it's very intentional. I think there's some stuff that doesn't really add up going on, and that it's a very, like, intentionally done thing, which, if I'm correct, this could be a really cool storytelling piece to actually just kind of mislead and throw off a viewer, or the player here. Yeah. I don't know, something's going on with him. Very, very interesting. Very sketchy, strange character. His motivations are very inscrutable, and I believe that they may be inscrutable to him as well. I believe he is acting on some sort of impetus that he does not fully understand. As we saw in his very opening, when he first showed up, he basically caused the machine spirit to do something that it normally wouldn't do, and had no memory of doing it himself. Continue your research.
Response: affirmative. The decryption will continue with diligence and caution. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Also, I appreciate the extra dialogue. Voice acting saves my throat a little bit. Are you being pestered again? I mean, every time she stands there, something's going on.
Talk.
Okay. No. Apparently not. Alright. So I guess we go back down to Kiava Gamma. I'm gonna finish everything up there. You guys told me that I should be able to do that without triggering anything else bad, so we're going to do that. Just wanted to do this beforehand. We're going to drop down here. I'm going to bring the exact same crew. No sense in changing it up. They seem like the most lore-friendly crew members for this planet to bring down. So, yeah. Guys, drop this video a like if you're enjoying this series. My apologies for the delay in uploads as well. It's just been, yeah, time has been moving strangely here. Also, the sweltering heat makes recording during the day, where I have to, you know, close all my doors and windows and everything, a little bit difficult. One of my windows is open right now. Hopefully I'm not bothering anybody in the courtyard, but I guess we'll see. So, yeah, hopefully the heat will abate pretty soon, at least for now, and I can record inside a little bit more easily. Okay, so there were a couple of directions we could still go. It was, of course, up to here. We could go inside. I don't know where this is going to lead, but screw it. Let's go there. We have to go down, right?
Is there money to be made?
Because this can take us to whatever that is. So let's send it over there. I don't know if we need to go here first or over that way to where I know there to be a Chaos Space Marine, but we're going to head in here first. To the inside. Whatever this might be. If it seems like this is the main avenue of progress, I'm going to backtrack and hit the other places first. I always like to do the side stuff before doing the main stuff. How big is this place? I don't think it's a very big room, so I think we should be fine. We have some nice cages filled with, oh no. Are they alive? I thought this is just a pile of corpses, but this is more than just a pile of corpses. These are all fused together, and the whole thing seems to be moving. And there's also a couple more. It's gonna be some sort of fight. What are these? I don't actually know what these are in terms of like 40k. This may be something that the game itself has devised. The screen of this cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating technolingua. Staring at the obscure symbols gives you a headache. Yeah, we've heard that a lot. You gonna tell me the same thing? Yeah. All right.
Always keep my options
no one's gonna
open.
mention the writhing. Okay, something's gonna happen. Numerous wires and pipes run to the filthy cages, which are filled with what looks like a conglomeration of human bodies. You cannot make out who is in the cage, but bright blue sparks flash intermittently in the darkness, while the mass of flesh twitches and shudders. Alright. Heinrix is probably, gonna say that this is heresy. Heinrix casts a scrutinizing eye over one of the cages before withdrawing his weapon and approaching what lies inside. Careful, Heinrix. Look at it. Heinrix gestures towards the cage closest to you. Through the metal bars, you see it truly is a pile of human bodies, or something that used to be. The monstrously deformed bodies have fused together in places, while others were severed using saws and knives, leaving wounds seeping pus and slime, wounds that were agglutinating and sprouting tendons. Oh man, agglutinating? What a word. Rods connected to wires that run to a nearby cogitator bristle across the flesh. One of the human heads turns to you. Mercy! Yeah? Okay, so are they using these fused human brains as like some sort of computer? Even attempting to speak causes the mutant pain, but he bears the agony and forces out the words, Mercy! Make it stop! Let's study the mutants closely. We failed. You peer at the pulsating mass of flesh. Beneath the thin film coating the skin of this monstrous creation, you can see the throbbing veins that snake through the flesh and the flowing yellow ichor. The creature looks like a conglomeration of several people, squeezed together by brutal hands into a single whole. What is this? Heinrix takes in his surroundings and once again fixes his attention on the contents of the nearest cage. I'm beginning to have some idea. The Lex Mechanic mentioned the inhabitants of the lower levels who had been imprisoned in their homes. He said some of them were brought here. The cultists did something to these poor people in their own home, and now they are studying the result. Have you ever seen anything like this before? I've seen a great deal, Rogue Trader. That includes mutations caused by the sorcery of chaos. But what frightens me most is not their repulsive form, but what is hiding beneath it. Heinrix frowns. A human soul in torment. Chaos never forgets to ensure its victims retain the ability to suffer. The Lex Mechanic talked about some kind of slag waste disposal and the chaos symbols on the machines. What are the archenemy's minions doing to the people of the lower levels? To know the workings of dark sorcery means allowing corruption into oneself. Heinrich scowls. These are warp mutations, no doubt. Perhaps there was some side effect, and that is why they were brought here, to be connected to censors and cogitators. Even fallen tech priests who have rejected the Omnissiah are driven by a perverted hunger for knowledge. Why are they hooked up to cogitators? Heinrich carefully studies the screen of the computing machines. Lingua Technis. Corrupted by the scrap code, I'm sure. It's unlikely we will be able to extract anything of value from their data crypts. Thinking, Heinrich clenches his fists and bites down on a knuckle, then recoils when the mutant from the nearest cage reaches a hand out to him through the bars. You! A female face watches you from within the gloom of the cage. Even though half her head has been turned into a mess of bones and lumpen growths, her single eye looks at you with a surprising amount of intelligence. You promised! You promised us! Her words are echoed by other voices in the depths of the cages. Heinrich leans towards the cage, but that's a sufficient distance to ensure that the mutant cannot reach him. Who are you talking to? What did they promise you? Who are they? You took us from the inferno. You promised us a reward. Her face contorts into a grimace, and the creature's lips stick together like melted wax. I'll be damned. They can still speak. They remember the people who did this to them. Heinrich's balls his fists in powerless rage. Then he frowns in thought. Perhaps a little biomancy will allow us to draw the fragments of knowledge out of them, or it will trigger further changes. What do you want to do? My Psyker abilities allow me to affect the human body. It is one of the most effective tools to use against individuals who resist questioning. But if you're suggesting that I want to use it, I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself. That's fair. The effect of warp energy will likely lead to an explosive reaction. I do not know the precise mechanism of this mutation. The results could be even more monstrous than its current state. If there is something that will make them talk, we must use it. I'm with Heinrich on this one. We need knowledge and, putting them out of their misery well. We can always do that later. You think so? Tiny fragments of data could prove worthless, or even harmful to us, in exchange for participating in this torture. Ooh. I mean, he suggested it, and now he's kind of... He's shown some doubt. I like Heinrich's. He seems to be, at first glance, probably one of the less two-dimensional or multi-dimensional characters, along with Abelard. But I think there's more to him, because he doesn't actively, display his doubt, but the way how he's like, we should, I can do this, and then being like, maybe we shouldn't do this, shows enough, while still, maintaining a commanding presence in this situation. But he's leaving the decision up to us. We've been a bit too goody two-shoes lately. These people can still serve the Imperium. Anyone would deem their suffering a fair price to pay. Heinrix hesitates for a moment, then closes his eyes and raises one hand. You are enveloped by an otherworldly chill. The mass of flesh in the cage suddenly rears up. The mutant wrenches open its glued-together lips and begins wailing frantically. The shrieking is echoed by a chorus of howls and tortured moans coming from the neighboring cages. Ooh, they're all linked together, huh? The mutant changes before your eyes. The tumors recede like an ebbing tide, revealing an emaciated female face twisted in agony. The woman gasps for air, stretching her now mobile neck, and exclaims, "Liar! You promised to kill me! You promised me deliverance! Every one of you, everyone told me to have hope and the pain would go! Accept the truth, for that is hope! My only hope is to be freed from this pain! Make it so! Make it A lump of flesh behind her head shudders and sends out smooth, fat tentacles that cover her wailing face and drag it into itself. You feel the pressure in your ears. From the cage you hear a steady, almost imperceptible sound that fills you with despair and horror. Peroxide! Jai barely breathes the word, not sounding at all like herself. Uh-oh. With a sigh, Heinrix lowers his hand and looks at what the creature within the cage has become, a wetly gleaming mass of meat and gristle that no longer bears any hint of its human origins. It pulses vigorously. And that's it. The lamentations of dying people. No, not just that. What it said about hope sounds like a lie of chaos, which it uses to take root in weak minds. I believe the corrupted tech priests repeated this phrase like an echo of what had been instilled in them. Whatever the cult of the Final Dawn is planning, false hope is a key component of their plan. It's a lead, a small one, but still a lead. Good. That's that, then. But do you know what bothers me, rogue trader? The number of people here. There are too few. The lower levels of similar manufactorums are inhabited by millions. What happened to the rest of them? Heinrix shakes his head. I know I won't like the answer. Let's go. We still haven't done what we came here to do. Can I, kill them? Put them out of their misery?
Keep your wits about you.
Apparently not. We can look at this cogitator. It's probably the same thing, yeah. Well,
This place is steeped in corruption, which means that it must be cleansed with fire down to the last crevice.
Yeah, I'm with...
Sister, tame your fervor. Your zeal is laudable, but first I must ascertain the intentions of the archenemy, not crush his manifestations without a second thought.
I understand both sentiments, and kind of agree with both of them. Yeah, I'll tell them the same thing. I feel like we should be able to burn them now, but apparently we can't. Alright, what's behind the door? I don't think I'm gonna like it. This room was already bad. What's in the next room? Okay, this is the data vault that they might be connected to. The cords coming from the cages, though it doesn't seem necessarily like... I don't know. I feel like they're probably connected to this. We have some nice chaos iconography. This looks like a happy room, fun room.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
What's in the data vault? The massive cogitator grows out of the metal bulkheads like a grotesque tumor. A hollow roar sounds from deep within the metal housing. Whatever spurred the computer into action, it has enough power to supply a small command center. As soon as your eyes fall upon the cogitator, you feel a tingling in your temples. Every nook, every component of the machine radiates a sense of wrongness, one that is difficult to explain, but no less palpable for that. It is as though the construct itself defies the laws of physics and perspective. Heinrix makes a warning gesture. His voice ringing slightly with tension, is threaded with disquiet. Stop, Cyrene. That is a creation of the archenemy. Don't go near it. You have done enough for me and my mission. Don't put yourself at risk now. Alright, he's gonna take care of it himself. As soon as Heinrix takes another step towards the cogitator, it emits a deafening shriek like hundreds of metal needles driving into toughened glass, as though sensing the stranger. Wincing, Heinrix approaches the control panel and bends down towards the screens. Despite the heat clogging the room, you feel an ice-cold breeze. Heinrix is clearly using his Psyker abilities to try to fend off the pernicious effects of the Chaos artifact. God, the soundtrack. This game's soundtrack slaps. It's good. The Omnissiah's grace has not touched this object. This mechanism was not desecrated, but born flawed and unnatural. Iron, most profane. Pascal unhurriedly produces a data slate, initiating observation log. Let not fear stand in the path of knowledge. Now is not the best time to do some recordings, Pascal.
You just said this thing is an abomination, yet you are going to immerse yourself in it in order to study it. Doesn't the thought repel you?
The tech priest raises his uncomprehending gaze to Jai. Interesting. Uncomprehending. Why is there a picture of Cassia here? Anyways. Squeamishness is not a relevant factor. I have conducted the relevant assessments. The risk of spiritual harm is acceptable. The importance of obtaining information is critical. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. A minute passes, then another. You watch Heinrix examine the cogitator. His eyes scan the screens, his hands darting from the reel to the lever, sometimes hovering uncertainly over the next switch, which immediately receives a coating of frost. At some point, you hear his voice, almost a whisper, barely audible above the clanging, roaring machine. Sacrifices. More and more sacrifices every minute. Heinrix looks at you, his eyes darker now, appearing almost black in his white face. Hecatomb determinants. The womb of this cursed machine is down on the lower levels. The auxiliary enumerator controls the system for delivering molten waste under the manufactorum's main building. The cogitator is fueled by the energy harnessed from thousands of people who are flowing beneath our feet as slag waste as we speak. God, so they're just melting people down into fuel for this demon computer. And then who knows what the other ones in the other room are doing. I think they're, like, contributing to it somehow. Oh boy. But I cannot even imagine the reason for sacrificing all these people. It's inconceivable. Now we know why the fabricator sensors prized this monster so highly. The cursed tech priest and his associates created something that went beyond the limits of the Omnissiah's power. This machine is designed to process myriad possibilities using warp sorcery. It has almost finished its task. It predicts the future, Cyrene. Oh, they created... oh boy. Well, yet more connection with the Cult of the Final Dawn to Tzeentch. I mean, there have been tons of connections between Tzeentch and the Final Dawn. Tzeentch, of all the Chaos Gods, is the one who knows the future best, and his followers often utilize that knowledge to, well, usually the detriment of others, often themselves as well. That's very cool, though.
It predicts the future. How is that even possible?
Do not attempt to gain any insight into the essence of the machines corrupted by the archenemy. At least, not if you value your soul. I have encountered the heretics' mechanical abominations before. To truly fathom their nature is to allow a particle of death into your heart. Heinrix is silent for a few moments. But the fruit they bear, no matter how abhorrent their instruments, the fruit they bear could be useful.
You intend to let a creation from beyond the veil do what it was designed to do?
Iliad stares at Heinrix in astonishment.
Is it not your calling to protect your kind from the schemes and temptations of Silanthresh?
You cannot understand this, Xenos. Knowing one's enemy is the path to destroying them. If, in order to prevent countless future calamities, I must perpetrate one of my own, such is my duty to the Golden Throne. Getting a little radical there, Heinrix. Iliad remains silent for a while, her head tilted to one side. Not only do you not keep watch over your kin, you even sacrifice your own souls to your dead god. It is astounding. Heinrix stares stonily at the cogitator screen. Yes, let's allow the machine to finish its calculations. I wish to know precisely what the cult's minions were so desperate to see in the future. Perhaps if we were to increase the power, it would be finished sooner. Ooh, your influence has made Heinrix more callous. When did I do that? Can I know what decision this was? No? Okay, that's fine. I don't actually... It's fine that it doesn't tell me. It would be cool if it did, but at the same time, it's kind of also cool that it doesn't. I'm gonna go Iconoclast on this one. We need to stop the Cogitator for the sake of the people still alive down there. Heinrix vacillates for another second, then shakes his head as though clearing away mental fog. Almost succumbed to the archenemy's old trick, the lure of the unattainable, the primary of all the traps that chaos sets for unwary souls. Yep, even Inquisitors can fall prey. Heinrich's movements are exact and purposeful, unlike his earlier operation of the Cogitator. One after another, the Cogitator's screens begin to fade to black, and the roar coming from inside the machine quiets to a barely perceptible howl, in which you imagine you hear notes of dejection. Heinrix bends over the keys and flinches as if from an electric shock. His head snaps back unnaturally, and you see his lips moving. The Cogitator lets out a roar that grows louder by the second. A screamer. Just a screamer? I've killed some of you before. I feel like this would warrant a more, I don't know, intelligent demon. But maybe the demon was just drawn by the burst of warp energy, and it's not actually within the Cogitator or anything. Anyways, I think we should be able to kick this thing's ass. I know I should be getting, like, PTSD from the first Screamer encounter, but I think I'm over that now. I am confident in our ability to win. But you know what they say about confidence? Or at least, you know what Wayne June, narrator of Darkest Dungeon, says about overconfidence. Yeah, I'm gonna move Iliad back here and hope that no enemies are gonna come from us behind. It just seems to be the one Screamer. It only has 400 health, which is pretty manageable, in my opinion. So we could move up. I could give Argenta
I'll make it happen.
the go-ahead. I'm gonna give Argenta the go-ahead. Argenta, if you could blast it, do a controlled shot, and then let's drop the confident approach here. We got Reckless Rush, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's give it some DACA.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking. She could move up.
The
I'm gonna
enemies
actually
of
move
the
her up just so that we
Emperor
can
will
get
be
some
undone.
furious recital. Who am I gonna juice up? I think I'm gonna juice up Heinrix, because Heinrix is right on in there. Now it's my turn again. Let's juice up Pascal as well. Our Veil Degradation is actually not that bad. I would have expected it to be worse. I'm gonna put a front line right here.
I'll see to it personally.
I am then going to put a back line right there, I guess. And I'll put a rear right back here.
On it.
Okay. What I will then do is give Pascal forewarning. I'm then going to hit a foreboding right here. It's going to hit the entire
It's as
party.
good as done.
Okay. And prescience? I guess I'll prescience Heinrix. Doing slightly different buffing at this moment. Different than I normally do. And I can drop a consign on it to ensure that it's going to take a crit. Our Veil is looking okay. Demonic Manifestation. I knew this wasn't going to be that simple.
I will endure.
Oh, hello. We have a Herald. Bunch of pink horrors. Anything behind us? No. Iliad's still safe. Ouchies! What was that all about? Did one of them explode? I think one of them exploded. No, he didn't. He just did something. I don't know. You're fine where you are, so we'll drop the perfect spot here. Do we want to drop Elusive Shadow? Yeah. It's free. Why the hell not? Anybody got an opening? The Screamer does not have an opening. Or at least, I don't think... Is this the Screamer's opening? Can't fucking tell. I'm just gonna assume...
If I must.
Yeah, it was. Okay, it was a bit problematic. I couldn't exactly tell where it was. Hold on. We have take aim, which I could also do. I've got 2 action points left. I'm going to killing edge it and hope for the best.
If it serves
I think I can one-shot it.
No weakness is
Close.
hidden from my sight.
Close. Very close. It was good damage. Alright, Argenta is looking a little bit pained. I'm gonna have to medkit her.
Ministration is a holy task.
Okay, that looks fine. We could throw a grenade. Got 2 horrors here, and a herald. The herald is a bit concerning. She's trapped in melee. Oh yeah, she's right there. Okay, we're gonna have to dash out of this. That's run and gun. That is the wrong ability. Whoopsies. Well, we don't really need to worry about cover, so I'm just gonna run her over this way. I'll drop a controlled shot, so that we can at least put some DACA into the enemies here. Oh, so close. Okay, well, she can shoot again, so it's gonna be just fine. We'll do a single shot here. I think we can finish it off.
As the Emperor commands, I act. None
Goodbye.
can escape the Emperor's judgment.
And then we can do a wildfire.
Deeds is worthless.
So I would, of course, like to burst this. And fuck it, I'm gonna. It's not gonna hit any allies. It'll destroy the cover, but that doesn't matter here. So,
But you, my Emperor!
you know, it's 2 hits. We'll drop a reload. She's got 5 stacks of versatility already, and she's gonna move a bit further back.
Move through me. Be the fire in
Right.
my heart.
That was pretty good. So, Jai actually has a weapon that can do some work against this thing. Question is, what else might I want to do? Assign the objective. The Master Tactician marks an enemy. If that enemy is killed by one of the Master Tactician's allies before the beginning of the Master Tactician's next turn, that ally gains some extra resolve. That's a cool-ass ability. I'm going to drop it on that horror over there. And then, I think I'm going to move right here and soften these 2 up with the splinter pistol. I can only soften up one of them, but we might hit the other one. Well,
remember the name.
That sucked. Try it again.
I can do that. Whoa! I want a medal for that one.
Alright,
Don't
well,
get too cocky.
hit him with the blaster.
I
Okay.
can do that with the
That
right
was
incentive.
not very effective. Hopefully, the allies will be able to kill it. I probably should have just used it on that one.
Yet I know no pain.
Right. Okay. We're getting fucked up here. Alright, we're gonna do, Iron Arm. My charge. Charge is all of my action points. I'm not using charge. I'm going to put an opening on this pink horror here. We're gonna start to get to work on this guy, because he's gotta go. So, there's a couple of things we can do. First off, let's open up with the Death Whisper, which is gonna do a lot of work already.
The Inquisition
Nice,
sends
nice,
their
nice.
regards.
I can love it when he says that. Right, strike.
Nothing stands against me.
Okay. I was kind of hoping we killed him, but... do a Word of the Emperor. We could also do a Shield
But
of the
of
Emperor.
course, Lord Captain.
Oh, we should be a little bit more careful. I think the manifestation kind of fucked up the veil a little bit, considering a bunch of horrors just breached through it. Right, we've got, hey, okay, did more friendly fire than unfriendly fire. I'm willing to accept that. Okay, Pascal, if you could move right there, it's going to take an attack opportunity, that's fine. And if you could patch up Heinrix.
Shutdown is premature.
And then,
Your assistance is much appreciated.
I'm going to drop a bounty on him, because we're about to get some action points back, as I claim this bounty. Oh, yeah.
Terminated.
Forgot about that. They do that. Well. Let's drop a bounty on these 2, because Pascal's about to engage both of them.
Your Messiah
So, we have Hold the Bold here. It's going to be pretty solid. And then I'm going to use my AoE. But before we use the AoE, I think I'm going to actually drop an analysis on this one. And then we're going to shop it with a Brutal Strike. That's going to hit Heinrix. Let's not. Let's put it right here. Oh, yeah. Goodbye, Blue Horror. Pink Horror still standing. Okay, the Blue Horrors are just the melee ones. The Pink Horrors are the ones that use the actual, you know, dangerous fire. Okay, no psychic powers. Let's not. It's currently dangerous. We could get into poking range, but let's be smart about this here. I think we can get the most work done with Pascal at the moment.
Not me.
Pascal's got AoEs, which do some serious work. 3 actions. That's enough to do the AoE, and also... Actually, it's enough to do multiple things here. So we're going to drop a Brutal Strike right there. Okay, goodbye. Almost goodbye. Let's kill it. Claim the bounty. Oh, yeah. And he gets an action point back. 2 action points back evenly. Even, I should say. Machine Spirit Communion? I'm gonna drop Machine Spirit Communion. I'm gonna drop some Machine Spirit Communion here. Gonna help with Argenta and Jai's accuracy. Okay. Aside from that, we're looking pretty good. I can give Voice of Command to let's give it to Argenta.
I'll see to it personally.
Not much else I can do aside from, you know, partaking in the violence myself. So we're gonna switch to our hunting rifle. And can't shoot him. Can shoot you. Can shoot you. I'm gonna try and get some damage in on this Pink Horror. Plink. You know, we can actually do some work, which is pretty cool. We don't suck. However, that's my turn. I'm not using any psychic powers right now, so... So you're attacking Jai?
Stop hitting me, Ashmag!
Right. Let's see here. Honestly, Iliad needs to pick him off. If I move here, I have line of sight on him.
Swiftly to strike.
We're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna then use Perfect Spot again.
Pet monkey.
We'll also use Elusive Shadow again.
Stop trying, monkey.
Precise Attack.
This tedium is beneath me.
I will then put some exploits onto the Herald. Then we're going to Killing Edge the Herald.
Fortune favors the swift.
Not the best, but, you know, still 84 damage. It's not bad. Certainly not bad. Okay, Argenta has... Oh, this is gonna just be... This is gonna be special.
Guided by faith.
Just truly, truly special. And right there,
As the
controlled shot.
I act.
Oh, yeah.
Faith without
Oh, yeah. Oh, it fills me with joy.
I'll do it.
Ah, we are now in melee. Well. We can always move out. If I can... Let's wildfire this. Melee attack?
As the Emperor eradicated.
Oh, yeah. Argenta, you are... This is wonderful.
As the Emperor commanded, is why I was chosen.
Honestly, firearm mastery in this case. This fight's almost over.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
I'll do it.
Each strike is a threat. Is not
We have momentum again.
As the Emperor commands, eradicate.
Oh my god. I just can't.
I'll do it.
Well, Argenta killed the entire encounter again. Do you need to go to the overpowered timeout pile with Cassia? Heinrich stares at the smoldering ashes of the demon, and then at the destroyed cogitator. The furrow on his brow slowly smooths out. His face looks almost contented. The creation of chaos is no more. I hope the Fabricator's censor did not have time to pass on the secrets of this creature to his associates. I hope that the survivors down on the lower levels can hold on until we liberate Kiava Gamma. Iliad looks at Heinrix.
There is more wisdom in you than I thought at first. One must never touch what was created by...
I can do without the Xenos moralizing. Know your place. Alright, calm down. Calm down. She was giving you a compliment, which from an Eldar, that's like... From an Eldar to a filthy Monkey, that is something. Iliad's momentarily unfurrowed brow quickly tenses again.
I never forget it, Monkey.
Yeah, there is some good dialogue between the characters that we brought along here. I'm glad I brought Iliad.
I saw something happen to you, Heinrix. What happened when you touched the machine?
Heinrix jerks his head and waves away the question, his movements sharp and unnatural. We'll talk about it later, but right now... His eyes settle on you. I must thank you, Cyrene. Without your help and cooperation, I doubt I would have reached the depths of Kiava Gamma and learned the truth behind my agents' dispatches and reports. I would never have ended up here, and I would never have succeeded in hampering the cult's activities. My business on Kiava Gamma is included. It is time to return to the mission that brought you to this industrial world. The only thing I'll ask of you is an audience when we return to the ship. Heinrix bows his head to signal that the conversation is over.
I always have a backup
Okay.
plan.
Talk to Heinrix on the ship's bridge. Alright, I think I should probably also do that before we do anything else. Because we, that was... Is it you, Sanjura? And you, Pavel? I think it was both of you guys telling me, like, warning me of something like this. That may have been just for the data quest, but I feel like it was also for this. I'm not going to take any chances, so we're going to head back to the ship. Be right back. Alright, here we are. Let's have a chit-chat with Heinrix.
To what do I owe this visit?
Are you satisfied with the results of your mission on Kiava Gamma?
Of course. The Fabricator Sensor's machine was stopped. Not another soul will be sent into the mouth of the archenemy. In time, we will succeed in uncovering and stopping other schemes of the cult. We dealt a blow not only to the cultists, but to the archenemy itself. I cannot help but be pleased.
Touching the cogitator did something to you. I want to know what.
No servant of the God Emperor has closer dealings with corruption than the agents of the Golden Throne. In its quest to guard the Imperium against its foes' most devious and secret schemes, the Inquisition seeks to understand the essence of evil. It is not enough for us to burn or cut down a rotten seedling. We must study it, understand it, touch it. Every time any of us do our duty, we are risking our very souls. But when it comes to Psykers, the soul of a Psyker is especially enticing to the archenemy.
Yep.
The cogitator was stopped, yes. I touched an infernal machine that was created to serve chaos. I used it. I delved into the principles of its operation. That was enough. Corruption needs only the briefest brush of contact.
That's not good.
When I touched the cult's cogitator, I drew the thousand-eye gaze of evil upon myself, as any agent does when they interfere in the schemes of those who serve the ruinous powers. And that evil undoubtedly left an invisible mark upon me, as it does on any acolyte who fights against the archenemy. And this will be the case every time I do my duty. I know a good deal about the fates of those who have served the throne before me. Enough to know that my path leads to one place, and one place only.
Damnation.
What are you going to do next?
My visit to Kiava Gamma did not produce answers to all my questions, but we did succeed in dealing a blow to the cult by destroying the Fabricator Sensor's machine. I have directed my spies to track the sect's surviving leaders. I'm certain that they will have useful information for us soon. Though small, this is a victory for the Golden Throne, and I have you to thank for it.
I think that will be all for now.
Thank you for finding the time for our conversation.
All right. Well, that was exciting. Really cool, like, set piece for the unfolding story. A machine created from basically a conveyor belt of molten human sacrifices, all fused and amalgamated into one thing, infected by the warp so that it could calculate the future. I love it. I love it when stories actually use chaos to its full potential and show how absolutely horrific it can be, and the ways that it can subvert what we have come to understand. You might think cold machinery is immune to something that's as organic as chaos, but it's not. Chaos gets into everything. It warps the very fabric of reality. Very cool stuff. I enjoyed this very much. And that is where we are going to end this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. I certainly did. The story piece was great. The fight was pretty cool. These interactions with Heinrix have been awesome. His interactions with Irliet were, amusing. I feel sorry for Irliet, though. Yeah. I'll catch you all in the next one. Heritor out.